People say money is the root of evil. I didn't believe that, not until the day a complete stranger approached me with an offer that changed my life forever. It happened on a hot Sunday afternoon. I was sitting in a cafe, broke, jobless, and desperate enough to consider anything. Then a man in dark glasses sat across from me without asking. He slid an envelope onto the table. Inside it was $2,000 in cash. "For you," he said calmly, "if you help me break up a couple." I laughed because I thought it was a prank. Who does that? Who pays someone to destroy a relationship? Then he placed a picture in front of me. A smiling young couple. Happy. In love. Perfect. And that's when he added, in a voice too cold and calculated, "Don't worry. She deserves what's coming." I should have walked away. But I didn't. Because I needed the money. Because I thought it would be simple. Because I thought they were just strangers. But they weren't. And the moment I stepped into their lives, I discovered exactly who they really were. And the truth nearly destroyed mine. Before we dive in, take a moment to subscribe to the channel so you never miss these powerful stories. Your support means everything. It helps me bring you more emotional, inspiring tales every single day. Now settle in, turn up your volume, and let's begin today's unforgettable story.
I wasn't supposed to be at that cafe. I was supposed to be at a job interview across town, but the moment I arrived, they told me the position had been filled. No apology, no explanation, just a door gently shut in my face. I walked back into the sun, shoulders heavy, head pounding, stomach empty, wondering how long someone could survive on hope alone. That's how I ended up at that cafe. Sitting alone, sipping the cheapest thing on the menu, praying the waitress wouldn't notice I'd been nursing the same drink for an hour. Then he walked in. Tall, dark shades, smooth walk, suit too expensive for this side of town. He looked out of place, like a lion strolling through a market. At first, I thought he was going to pass by me. Instead, he sat down across from me without a word. No greeting, no permission, no hesitating. I frowned. Sorry, this seat is... He slid an envelope toward me. "Open it." I blinked. "What?" "Open it," he repeated, calm but firm. Every instinct screamed at me to stand up and walk away, but desperation can silence even the loudest warnings. I opened the envelope, and my breath vanished. Crisp, neatly stacked bills. Hundreds of dollars, at least $2,000. My hands shook. "What is this?" He said, "A job." My heart hammered. What kind of job? He leaned back and folded his arms. One that requires no experience, only discretion. My stomach twisted. Discretion never meant anything good. He took out a picture from his inside pocket and placed it on the table between us. A couple. A beautiful woman with bright eyes and a smile that radiated joy. A man holding her waist, tall and handsome, head tilted toward her with a look that could only be described as devotion. They looked like the kind of couple people envied. "You want me to..." I hesitated. "Break them up," he finished, his voice chillingly casual. I stared at him, horrified. "What? Why me? You don't even know me." "I know enough." "Enough what?" "That you're desperate, that you need money, that you have no close family to ask, that you've been looking for work for months, that you're clever, but invisible." A shiver ran down my spine. "How do you know all that?" He didn't answer. Instead, he said, "There is nothing illegal about what I'm asking. No violence, no threats, no crimes." He paused. "Just influence. Make them fight. Create a misunderstanding. Make her look unfaithful. Make him doubt her." I swallowed hard. "You're asking me to lie." He tilted his head. "I want you to be creative." "This is wrong," I murmured. He didn't argue. He didn't convince. He didn't plead. Instead, he simply pushed the envelope closer. "You get half now, half when it's done." My heart pounded so loudly I could barely hear myself think. "You're asking me to ruin someone's relationship." "Yes." "To hurt people who haven't done anything to me." "Yes."
Why? Who are they to you? His jaw tightened. That is none of your concern. What if I say no? He adjusted his glasses slowly. Then I will find someone else. He stood up and leaned forward. But you will still go home hungry. He turned away and walked out the door, leaving the envelope sitting in front of me like a threat and a temptation rolled into one. I stared at the money for 5 full minutes. 5 minutes that changed the course of my life. I should have walked away. I should have left the envelope on the table. I should have told the managers someone had forgotten their money. But instead, I picked it up. Not because I wanted to hurt anyone, but because I wanted to survive. After months of job hunting, skipped meals, unpaid bills, and nights crying myself to sleep, $2,000 felt like salvation. I told myself I could take the first half and never do the job. I told myself I could return the money later. I told myself I wasn't doing anything yet. I told myself lies to soothe the guilt that was already forming. I wasn't a bad person, I thought. Just unlucky. Desperate. That night, I spread the photo on my small mattress as I ate instant noodles, the first proper dinner I'd had in days. I examined them closely. The woman, beautiful, bright, confident, looked familiar, but I couldn't place her. The man, tall, well-groomed, charming, had the kind of face women fell for easily. They looked like the characters in a love story, the kind that should last forever. Why would someone want them separated? As I stared at the picture, something else caught my eye. A detail that made my chest tighten. A bracelet on the woman's wrist. A bracelet I had seen before. I leaned closer, squinting. No, it couldn't be. My phone buzzed suddenly, making me jump. A text from an unknown number. Your first task begins tomorrow. Be ready. I stared at the message, trembling. Another text followed immediately. And remember, do not talk to them. Do not warn them. Do not tell anyone about this. My heart pounded. How did he know I was looking at the picture right that moment? How did he know I hadn't thrown the money away? How did he know I'd kept the envelope? Then my phone buzzed again. And don't bother trying to run. I always find who I hire. A cold chill slid through my spine. I looked again at the bracelet in the picture. Then it hit me. I knew where I had seen it. My best friend once wore the exact same bracelet. My breath caught. I held the picture closer, eyes widening. It was her. The woman in the picture was my best friend, Nina. And the man beside her? Her fiancé. The man I had only ever heard about in stories, but never met. The man I now had been paid to destroy. What would you do if someone offered you $2,000 to break up a couple? Walk away or take the money?
I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Nina's smiling face in that photograph, not knowing that her life had just been sold to me like a job. I paced my small room until dawn, arguing with myself. I can't do this. I need the money. She's my best friend. He said she deserves it. This is wrong, but this money could change everything. By morning, I felt sick with guilt and confusion. I stared at myself in the mirror, eyes sunken, face pale, a person I barely recognized. I picked up the photo again, studying Nina. Her smile was the same one she had worn since we were teenagers, bright, pure, full of hope. I remembered how she used to cling to my arm and whisper, "When I fall in love, it has to be someone who looks at me like I'm magic." I had laughed at her then, but now someone had paid to destroy that magic. Someone who hated her enough to hand me thousands of dollars. I swallowed hard and checked the message again. "Your first task begins tomorrow. Be ready." I didn't know what the task was, but the thought alone made my body tremble. By 9 a.m., another message arrived. "Go to Mavis Cafe at 4 p.m. Sit by the window. Wear something red." I typed a reply. "Why?" He responded instantly. "Because they'll be there, and you need to be seen." My heart lurched. He wanted me to cross paths with them, accidentally on purpose. A spark of jealousy, suspicion, misunderstanding. That's how relationship sabotage started. I spent the next hours trying to convince myself to ignore the message. Throw away the phone, block the number, return the money. But I couldn't. Not because I wanted the money anymore, but because the man frightened me. If he knew my situation, my background, my secrets, what else did he know? What would he do if I backed out? 4 p.m. came faster than I expected. I put on the only red blouse I owned and took a taxi to Mavis Cafe. The closer I got, the more my stomach twisted with dread. When I walked inside, the place was warm and crowded. The smell of coffee and pastries filled the air. I took the seat by the window like he instructed. I didn't see Nina at first, not until she walked in, hand in hand with him, her fiancé, the man in the photograph. And when I saw him in person, I understood immediately. He was even more handsome than the picture suggested. Tall, broad shoulders, a calm posture that wasn't loud but felt expensive. But there was something else too, something I couldn't name. A heaviness behind his eyes. He didn't look at Nina the way I expected a man in love to look. Not warmth, not tenderness, not desire. More like possession. Nina spotted me first. Her eyes widened with surprise and delight. "Oh my God! Amara?" My breath caught. I forced a smile and waved. She dragged her fiancé toward me, glowing with happiness. "This is her," she said excitedly, "the friend I've been telling you about." He looked at me slowly. Not with friendliness, not even curiosity, more like recognition or suspicion. He extended his hand. His grip was strong, too strong. "I'm David," he said. My blood froze. David. The same name as in the last story, but this wasn't him. This was someone else. Someone entirely different. "Amara," I replied quietly. Nina beamed. "Wait, why are you wearing red?" she asked playfully. "You never wear red." My throat tightened. "Oh, I just felt like it today," I lied. Nina hugged me tightly. "I've missed you. You never visit anymore." I swallowed guilt. "I know. I've just been busy." David watched me too closely. "So, Amara," he said, smiling without warmth, "what brings you here today?" I hesitated. Before I could answer, his phone buzzed. He glanced at it briefly, then excused himself. Nina sat across from me, sighing contentedly. "He's perfect, isn't he?" I nodded weakly. "You haven't told me how you two met," I said casually. Nina giggled. "Oh, it's a long story. I'll tell you later." My stomach tightened. She looked deeply in love and deeply unaware. After a few minutes, David returned. His expression had changed. He looked tense. He grabbed Nina's hand tightly. "We need to go." "What? Why?" she asked. I just remembered something. His tone wasn't angry, but controlling, possessive. They left in a hurry. I exhaled shakily and stood up to leave, but before I could take 2 steps, my phone vibrated. A message. From him. The stranger. "Well done. He noticed you. That's what matters." I froze. How did he know? Another message appeared. "Tomorrow we start phase 2. My fingers trembled as I typed, "Who are you? Why are you doing this?" This time he responded with just 3 words. "You'll see soon." And that scared me more than anything.
The next morning, I woke up to sunlight slicing through my curtains like a blade. I barely slept. My mind churned with questions I couldn't answer. Who was the stranger? Why did he hate Nina and David? Why did he choose me of all people? I checked my phone. No new messages. For a moment, I allowed myself to hope that maybe he changed his mind. Maybe he forgot. Maybe I was free. Then, at exactly 10 a.m., my phone buzzed. Phase 2 begins today, 6 p.m. sharp. My stomach twisted. I typed quickly, "I don't want to be a part of this anymore." Seconds later, the reply came, "You already are." My breath caught. Another message, "Go to the Blue Orchid Lounge. Dress nicely. Sit at the bar. Alone." I swallowed hard. And then what? His answer sent a cold thrill down my spine. "He will approach you." He? Meaning David? I paced my room anxiously. How would David just happen to be there? Was the stranger coordinating with him somehow? Was someone watching David's schedule? Or was David part of something darker than Nina knew? By the time evening came, my nerves were fried. But I still went, because fear pulls harder than courage. The Blue Orchid Lounge was dim, classy, and filled with soft jazz. Couples sat in cozy corners, laughing, drinking, flirting. I felt out of place immediately. I wore a simple black dress, nothing fancy, but enough to not look suspicious. I sat at the bar like he instructed. My heart thumped wildly. Every person who walked in made my body stiffen. Minutes trickled by. 20, 30. Then, I felt a presence behind me. A tall figure. A familiar scent. A cold energy. David. He slid into the seat beside me without waiting for permission. "You again," he said with a small smirk. "Interesting." I forced a small smile. "Hi." He ordered a drink, then turned slightly toward me. "Nina told me you two have been friends since childhood."
I nodded. Yeah, she's like a sister. He murmured. And yet, I've never seen you around. I've been busy. He hummed again, observing me too closely. So tell me, Amara. He leaned in, lowering his voice. Why were you at Mavis Cafe yesterday? Was it really just coincidence? My throat tightened. Yes, I lied. He studied my face like he was reading a book. You're not a very good liar. The words hit me like a slap. I forced a nervous laugh. I wasn't lying. He held my gaze for a long, uncomfortable moment. Then his lips curled slightly. Maybe I just enjoy making you nervous. My skin crawled. He reached out and touched a strand of my hair. Pretty, he murmured. My body stiffened. This man, Nina's fiancé, was flirting with me openly? A part of me wanted to slap his hand away. Another part remembered the stranger's message, make him doubt her. I didn't know if David was playing a game or if this was just who he really was. So I pulled back gently and said, "We shouldn't be doing this." His eyes darkened. "Doing what?" I whispered. "This." He smirked. "You think Nina would be upset?" I swallowed. "I think you should be upset." Something flickered in his eyes. Annoyance or intrigue? Before he could respond, his phone buzzed. He checked the screen. His jaw clenched. Without a word, he stood up abruptly. "I have to go." "Is everything okay?"
He stared at me, longer than necessary. "Tell Nina I said nothing happened." And with that, he rushed out of the lounge, leaving me alone with more questions than answers. I exhaled shakily. What kind of man leaves like that? What kind of man touches another woman's hair 1 minute and storms off the next? And more importantly, who messaged him? Was it the stranger? Was someone else watching us? Before I could stand up, my phone buzzed. A message. From the stranger. Excellent! My skin prickled with fear. You're getting under his skin. I typed quickly. Why? What do you want from them? From me? His reply came in 5 chilling words. Because she ruined my life. I froze. He meant Nina. I typed, "Who are you to Nina?" He replied, "Someone she betrayed." My heart hammered. What did she do to you? Another message came instantly. Not here. Tomorrow, noon. Bridgeview Park. Come alone. My pulse quickened. Tell me the truth now. His next and final message shook me. I will. But know this. You're in deeper than you think. When I left the lounge, the night air felt colder than usual. I kept looking over my shoulder, feeling watched. Halfway home, I received another message, not from the stranger. This one was from Nina. Babe, are you awake? I feel weird, like something bad is coming. My throat tightened. I wrote back quickly. Nina, are you okay? What happened? Her reply made the blood drain from my face. I don't know, but David is acting strange. Another message. And someone's been calling him all day. Someone he won't tell me about. I closed my eyes. The stranger. It had to be him. I typed, Nina, please be careful. Stay safe. She sent a voice note, her voice trembling. Amara, I'm scared. I clutched my phone so tightly it hurt. The stranger was clearly connected to David, to their relationship, to something dark neither of them knew they were involved in. And now I was trapped in the middle of it. Tomorrow, I would meet the stranger. Tomorrow, I would hear the truth. But in my gut, I already knew whatever he was going to reveal was bigger than a breakup, bigger than money, bigger than me. Some secrets don't just break relationships. Some destroy lives. Do you think David is innocent? Or is he hiding something even darker than the stranger? Who do you trust at this point? Bridgeview Park was unusually quiet the next day. Children normally filled the playground, joggers circled the fountain, lovers held hands on the benches. But today, the air felt heavy, almost staged. I arrived at noon, heart pounding, eyes scanning every corner. Then I saw him, the stranger. He stood under a jacaranda tree, hands in his pockets, wearing the same dark glasses, the same calm expression that hid too much. He didn't wave, he didn't smile. He simply tilted his head for me to come closer. My legs felt like lead as I approached. "You came," he said, his voice smooth but cold. "You said you'd tell me the truth," I replied, my voice trembling. "And I will." He nodded to a nearby bench. "Sit." I sat. He remained standing, his presence towering over me. I crossed my arms. "Start talking. Who are you to Nina?" He inhaled slowly. "My name is Caleb." My body jerked. Caleb. The name sounded familiar. He removed his glasses for the first time. His eyes were sharp, dark, and filled with something I couldn't read. Pain? Anger? Regret? "Caleb," I repeated. "Why does that name—" "Because Nina knows it," he said quietly, "and she wishes she didn't." My heart dropped. "What did she do to you?" He looked away for a moment, as if debating how much to reveal. Then he turned back, jaw tight. "She's the reason my life fell apart." I blinked. "What?" "She ruined my reputation, destroyed my career, and almost put me in prison." My breath caught. "I don't believe you," I whispered. "Of course you don't." His voice hardened. "She's your best friend. You see the version she shows you, the sweet one, the innocent one, the loyal one." He leaned in. I saw everything else. I shook my head. "No, Nina would never—" "Lie," cut in sharply, "manipulate, play the victim, throw someone else under the bus to save herself?" My chest tightened. He reached into his coat pocket and pulled out a small folder, placing it beside me. Inside were documents, screenshots, emails, black and white proof. But I didn't touch it. I was too afraid of what I might find. Caleb continued. "We used to work at the same company. She was charming, confident, ambitious. Everyone loved her, including me." He paused. "Yes," he admitted softly. "I loved her." My heart twisted painfully. But she didn't love me back. She loved the attention I gave her, the favors, the help, the protection. I swallowed hard. "And then?" I whispered. "And then," Caleb said, voice trembling with rage, "she accused me of harassment." My eyes widened in shock. "No, no, she wouldn't—" "Yes," he said coldly, "she did. She told HR I made her uncomfortable, that I followed her, messaged her obsessively, that I threatened her when she rejected me." I stared at him, speechless. "It was all lies," he continued. "I never did any of those things, but she needed a scapegoat, someone to blame for her mistakes." "What mistakes?" I whispered. He inhaled deeply. "She had been leaking confidential data to a rival company for extra cash. My stomach dropped. That's not possible. It is. His voice was firm. And when the company started investigating, she needed someone to take the fall. She cried, lied, broke down in front of HR, said she was scared of me. They believed her because she looks like someone you want to protect. I felt sick. Caleb, I don't know if... He cut me off. I lost everything. My job, my reputation, my dignity. I spent 2 years trying to rebuild my life, and while I suffered, Nina got promoted. My hands began to shake. You think she's an angel? Caleb whispered. But she's not. She's selfish. She destroys good people to protect herself. I swallowed painfully. And David? I asked. What did they do to you together? Caleb's jaw tightened. That man, he said with venom, is worse than she is. Why? Caleb stepped back, looking up at the sky for a moment. He's not who she thinks he is, not who he pretends to be. He hurt someone I loved. I blinked hard. Who? Caleb's voice cracked. My sister. My heart nearly stopped. What did he do to her? Caleb looked at me with eyes full of loss. He dated her, used her, manipulated her. And then, when she confronted him about seeing someone else, she ended up in a hospital bed. My breath caught in my throat. No! Yes, he said softly. She almost didn't survive. Silence wrapped around us like frost. And now, Caleb continued quietly, those two monsters found each other. A liar and a manipulator. A perfect match. I felt my world spinning. Nina isn't a monster, I whispered weakly. He looked at me sharply. You don't know her the way I do. I swallowed. So that's why you want to break them up. No, Caleb said, and his tone changed. It's more than that. He sat beside me. Amara, I'm trying to save you. I blinked. Save me? From what? His next words chilled me to the bone. From them. He leaned closer. From the role you're about to play in their story. My voice trembled. What role? Caleb whispered. You're the next scapegoat. A cold shock rippled through me. What? He nodded slowly. Nina needs someone to blame when her secrets start catching up with her. And David, he's already suspicious of you. But I haven't done anything. You were seen with him twice. You're alone, vulnerable, easy to discredit. No! I shook my head violently. This can't be happening. Caleb gently placed the folder into my hands. They're planning something, Amara, and you're at the center of it. Read this. You'll understand. I stared at him, trembling. Why help me? His eyes softened. Because I know what it feels like to be destroyed by the people you trust most. Wind rustled the leaves above us. Caleb stood, putting his glasses back on. Tomorrow, they're going to test you. Be careful. Don't trust either of them. I opened my mouth to ask more, but he walked away, disappearing between the trees, leaving me alone with a folder that might shatter everything I thought I knew. I held it tightly to my chest, too scared to open it, too scared not to. Tomorrow, something terrible was coming. I felt it, and I wasn't ready.
I didn't open the folder that night. I couldn't. I sat on my bed holding it to my chest, shaking, terrified of whatever truth lay inside. Every few minutes I thought about opening it, and every time my fingers touched the flap, fear gripped me again. What if everything Caleb said was true? What if Nina wasn't who I thought she was? What if David really was dangerous? What if I was walking straight into a trap? By 3 a.m., I still hadn't slept. And then, I heard footsteps. Slow, heavy, right outside my apartment door. I froze. No one visited me. No one even knew where I lived. I held my breath. A soft knock. 3 taps. Then silence. I didn't move until I heard footsteps fading away. When sunrise came, my nerves were raw, and at 10 a.m., a message buzzed on my phone. From Nina. "Babe, can you come over? I need you." My heart tightened. Then another message followed. "Please, come alone." I felt sick. Caleb's warning echoed in my mind. Tomorrow, they're going to test you. Was this what he meant? I arrived at Nina's house around noon. Her home was small but beautiful. Warm colors, scented candles, framed pictures of her and David everywhere. She greeted me at the door with eyes that looked tired, too tired. She hugged me tightly. "Amara, thank God you came. I've been so stressed." "What's wrong?" I asked. She stepped back, biting her lip. "It's David." My stomach twisted. He's been acting strange, going out at odd hours, hiding his phone, talking to someone I don't know. My pulse quickened. "Have you asked him who?" She shook her head. "He gets angry, says I'm paranoid. Yesterday he snapped at me for no reason." She curled into herself. "Amara, do you think he's cheating?" I swallowed. She had no idea she was talking to the woman David met at a lounge last night. "No, I don't think so." She nodded slowly. Then her expression changed. More serious, colder, sharper. "Where were you last night?" I blinked. "What?" "Last night," she repeated. "Around 7 p.m. I was home." I lied. "Really?" she said softly. "Because David said he saw you somewhere." My heart skipped. "He said you two ran into each other." I forced my face to stay neutral. "I don't know why he'd say that." Nina stared at me for a long moment. Too long. Then she leaned back. "Maybe I'm overthinking," she murmured, forcing a shaky smile. I trust you." Her words felt heavy. Dangerously heavy. I sat on her couch, feeling like the walls were closing in. "Where's David?" I asked carefully. She sighed. "He's out. He said he needed air." Something felt wrong. Nina stood up suddenly. "I'll get us something to drink." She walked into the kitchen. I sat there trembling until I heard a faint buzz under a cushion beside me. A phone. Not mine, not Nina's. Curious, I pulled it out. It was David's phone. Unlocked, a message preview glowed on the screen. Unknown number. "She's there. Don't worry. She'll take the fall just like we planned." My blood ran cold. My hands shook violently. I opened the message thread. My eyes widened as I read. "Make sure she comes over when you're gone." "She will. She's too soft to say no." "And the friend?" "Don't worry. She won't talk. She knows nothing." "Good. Tonight we'll finish it. She'll be the perfect scapegoat." Scapegoat? Just like Caleb said. But who was the unknown? Then a new message came in as I stared. Unknown. Is she holding the folder? Folder? The folder Caleb gave me? My heart nearly stopped. Unknown. Good. Make sure she opens it tonight, then everything will fall on her. I felt like I couldn't breathe. A creeping chill rushed up my spine. They weren't planning to blame Nina. They were planning to blame me. Footsteps approached. I shoved the phone back under the cushion and sat upright just as Nina returned with 2 glasses. She smiled, but something about her eyes had changed. She handed me a glass. "Drink," she said gently. I hesitated. "Why aren't you drinking?" "Oh, mine's in the kitchen. I forgot it." I stared at the glass in my hand. Something was wrong. Very, very wrong. My instinct screamed at me. "Don't drink it." Actually, let's drink together. I'll go grab yours." Her face froze. Just for a split second. And that told me everything. "No need. Just drink yours." My voice shook. "Nina? What's going on?" She sat down slowly. "Amara?" Her voice cracked. "I didn't want this, I swear." A tear rolled down her cheek. "But David said if you found out anything, you'd ruin us, and I can't lose him." My heart dropped. "Nina," I whispered. "You're setting me up?" Her face crumpled. "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I love him. I have to protect us." I stared at her in disbelief. "You were going to let him destroy me? Your best friend?" She sobbed harder. Before I could speak again, the front door opened. David walked in. Cold, calm, dead-eyed. He stepped toward me. "You weren't supposed to see anything," he said quietly. I stood up. "Stay away from me." He smiled faintly. "It's too late, Amara." He looked at the glass in my hand. "Drink." "I won't!" Nina cried harder. "Amara, please, just listen." "No!" I shouted. I backed away toward the door, but David blocked it. "You should have stayed out of our lives," he said softly. "But you didn't. And now, the story needs a villain." "A villain?" He stepped closer. "And that villain is you." My chest tightened. "No! Caleb warned me." David's expression shifted violently. "Caleb, you're talking to him?" So he did know. He clenched his fists. "That man destroyed my life. He's obsessed with us. And now he's using you." I shook my head. "You're lying." "I'm not," he growled. "Nina and I were trying to protect ourselves from him. He keeps trying to ruin our relationship." I couldn't breathe. 2 stories, 2 versions of the truth. One of them lying, one of them manipulating. Maybe both. I fumbled for the doorknob. Suddenly the window shattered. A rock flew through. Screams, glass everywhere. On the rock, a note. "Run." My heart jumped. "Caleb!" Without thinking, I shoved past David, sprinted to the door, and ran as fast as I could. Down the hall, down the stairs, into the street. I didn't look back. I didn't stop running. Not until I reached a crowded bus stop, gasping for air. Cars passed, people stared, but no one knew what had just happened. No one knew my best friend had just chosen a man over my life. No one knew someone had tried to poison me, frame me, destroy me, and no one knew who was lying. The stranger who said he wanted to save me? Or the couple who said they wanted to protect themselves? Only one thing was clear. This wasn't over. Somewhere behind me, someone was still watching, and the story wasn't finished. Not even close. Who do you think is the real villain? Caleb? Nina? Or David? And do you want the sequel?